Hi, Levo, and today we're going to be building a bowling alley for my BACC. Now, obviously, my BACC is like Wild Western themed, so when I initially thought about it, I was like, okay, I'm really gonna struggle with how this is gonna look because just close your eyes right now and try and imagine a Wild Western bowling alley. And you probably can't because they don't exist. Not that I know of, anyway. Maybe I didn't research it enough, I don't know, but I really thought I was gonna like struggle a lot with this build, but it came out a lot easier than I thought it would, so I was very happy about that. Now, this is an earned community lot, meaning that I didn't have to pay for it. I think in the BACC rules that I'm using, every 4 households you get a earned community lot. I think my first earned community. Is this my first earned? I think this is no. Yeah, it is my first earned community lot. My bad. The first community lot that wasn't owned by a family was actually the council house, which I did build on this channel. The council house is like for people getting married and that kind of stuff. So they paid for that out of like Kalataka got the sheriff. Kalataka got a what are they called? The magic genie lamps. She got a magic genie lamp and then wished for fortune and put it on the treasury, and then we got a council house because I really wanted her to get married to her wife in a traditional Cherokee wedding. Because Kalataka is a traditional Cherokee. No, I'd say traditional Cherokee woman. I'd be lying. She's not a traditional Cherokee woman, but she does enjoy the traditions a lot. In the sense, she's kind of more of a traditional Cherokee man because she enjoys hunting, and traditional Cherokee women enjoy gardening and like taking care of the plants and basket weaving and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. I really did want to play with gender roles a bit, especially because like when I was researching like Cherokee traditions and like all that kind of stuff and like their gender roles, obviously it's like antiquated because it's like from over a millennia ago, and with the definitely in like the time frame that my BACC is held in, it's a long, long time ago. So they probably no longer have those rigid gender roles. Literally, the when I was looking into it, it was saying how like they determine who's two spirit by whether someone born a boy likes to do basket weaving, and it's like boys can't basket weave now. What's that about? So it was just interesting to research, and it's cool. I've really enjoyed this BACC and like learning about Cherokee culture. Ages ago, actually, I had a OC literally called Diani, and she was Native American, and she was tall, and she was a witch. And I have some art of her that I drew ages ago. I literally think I drew her twice, and then I was gonna have this whole massive story about like the end of the world and stuff like that, but I never ended up doing it. This was like years ago, so I don't even remember what the story was anymore. But yeah, so I think I've always kind of been interested in Native American culture. So, and when I was thinking of starting a BACC with Esoteria, who has a um historical BACC, I was like, well, I think it's kind of similar, me and Esoteria's BACC, because theirs isn't. It's has a historical like theming to it, but it's not actually set in the past. Same with mine when it's actually set in the future. So very very interesting the creative parallels of my inspirations and that kind of stuff. But I'll do some Sims news. The I saw because I was on Reddit the other day and I saw a picture of the shop button, and I just thought people were like pulling my leg because I was like, EA would do this, but I don't know if EA would actually do this, right? And as I kept scrolling and scrolling more and more, I kept seeing the same shop button and people being like outraged about it. And I'm not even gonna say I'm shocked. This is completely like this is something EA would absolutely do. I don't think people know, or maybe they do. EA has won worst games company for like 3 years in a row. Like this is really they're really about this kind of life. Like they really do this kind of stuff. And it's like the players of older Sims games have been trying to warn Sims 4 players for the longest time, and people still keep like buying their products. I genuinely think a lot of Sims 4 players just have an addiction to like shopping and like buying things. It's understandable in this kind of climate, like capitalism. You kind of feel pressure to buy things all the time. I understand that. Definitely exploitative of what EA is doing. 74 DLC, like, are you sick? Are you sick in the mind? Like, EA definitely are doing this on purpose, but Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I wasn't shocked. I was kind of like, whoa, what the hell is that? But I was like, yeah, that makes complete sense. The UI in The Sims 4 is like really difficult to navigate. It's really, really hard. The Simology panel, the amount of scrolling you have to do, that's what I don't miss about The Sims 4. Like now that I've played the older games, The Sims 3, The Sims 2, so much easier to like navigate the actual like screen and see what you want to see. So if I wanted to like in The Sims 4, for example, look at my character traits and then look at my parenthood character traits, it's like so difficult to do that. Whereas if something like that happened were to be in The Sims 3, it's just so much easier to navigate these certain things. So I'm not surprised that they made the UI infinitely worse for you to use as a buyer. I did see someone with epilepsy complaining that the shop icon, like, because they're not used to it being there, obviously it's like in the main toolbar that you use to navigate The Sims 4, and they were saying how like they click on it and then it starts flashing and it could trigger a seizure within them. So EA, come on man, like, greed aside, with the lack of accessibility, like if you're going to be greedy, make it an accessible kind of greed. Like come on, let's be centered and gathered right now. But yes, oh my goodness, a lot has happened in the news. So in the UK, I don't know if you probably know about this. It's literally been everywhere. But there was a thing in Glasgow, the Willy Wonka experience, and I didn't know about it until I went out with my mates and we went to like a pizza restaurant. We were having pizza, whatever. And she was just talking about the Willy Wonka experience because I'd heard it in the car. I was in a driving lesson and I just heard it on the radio. They talk about the Willy Wonka experience and this villain called the Unknown. And I was like, what? Why would they add a villain into Willy Wonka? There wasn't a villain in Willy Wonka. They didn't talk much about it, but they said how it was in Glasgow and the unknown was there and it had really poor reception and they were just calling it interesting, but they weren't going into detail about it. I was like, I feel like I'm missing some kind of context here. I feel like they're not telling me everything that I want to know. So literally the same day I hear it on the radio, I talk about it with my mate. I'm like, oh yeah, what's this Willy Wonka experience thing about? And she tells me how like the AI generated a script for Willy Wonka, and that created this villain called the Unknown, who is an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. Which is like, what? And there was a clip, I think if I remember, I'll try and edit it in, but there was a clip of the Unknown like hiding behind a mirror, and Willy Wonka's like, what is that? It's the Unknown. And then the Unknown like glitches, like kind of like goes out of the mirror, and then children start crying. It's like, it sounds so evil for me to say. That's so funny. That is so funny. Now, obviously, being scammed is horrible, and because it is a scam. What happened was, it's like 35 quid to like go see this Willy Wonka experience, right? And the website made so many promises, being like, oh, there's going to be so much chocolate, so much of this. It's going to be an amazing all-round experience for you to like go and like see this chocolate factory. It's going to be amazing. The parents paid 35 quid. They go there to like some abandoned warehouse. Not abandoned, it's just like some random warehouse that people don't really use that much. It's being fully like rented out. There's like 5 set pieces. It's like 2 lollipops and like a couple of things here and there. It looks rough. If you see pictures of the Willy Wonka experience, it looks really, really rough. And obviously they pay this money expecting like a really all-inclusive kind of experience, and they go there and it's a random warehouse with like 5 actors that like weren't paid, with an AI generated script. Literally the organizer of the event, he gave the script to Willy Wonka, like the main actor, and the actor read this and was like, this makes 0 sense, like what am I supposed to do with this? And then the person who like organized the event was like, I don't know, you're just gonna have to figure it out. And he just like let them to do whatever. There's so many cases where like the actors would ask for certain things. So one of the Oompa Loompas was like, I have the costume, like you gave me a costume, but I don't have like makeup to look like it, because obviously the Oompa Loompas are orange, aren't they? And so she's asking like, can I have makeup? And then the organizer's like, oh well, we don't really have that, so you need to like figure that out yourself. Like the day of when things are supposed to be happening like right now. And she's like, "Well, what the hell?" And then also there's also like the obviously on the website they had promised to give people chocolate because it's Willy Wonka. You expect chocolate, right? But then instead of chocolate, they gave each child one jelly bean and a quarter cup of Tesco's own brand lemonade, which is just the budget is or the lack thereof is really interesting. It's really intriguing to hear about it. And I remember I could not stop laughing. Like I was laughing so hard when my mate was telling me about this because this is you can't this is can't even put into words just how like shocking it is that that happens so close to home. Like, obviously Glasgow. I I'm from England. I'm not from Glasgow, but it's like it's it's just so mad. People calling it like the UK's version of Fire Festival, and I can. Fire Festival was obviously way worse, but like I feel like this is the UK's answer to DashCon. You know the Tumblr convention. This is the UK's answer to DashCon. It was really bad. It got to the point where like parents were calling the police, like asking for their refund and that kind of stuff. It's messy. It's a lot. But I just remember going on Twitter when I went back from got out with my mate, going on Twitter and just like scrolling through all the memes about the unknown because evil chocolate maker that lives in the walls. Why would AI generate that? Like that's that's really something. Oh my god, that's really something. Okay, back to the build. Here I'm just deciding the kind of wars that I wanted. The wars the unknown lives in. What is that? It's the unknown. Yeah, right here there's the front desk area. Now the front desk area, I was having some issues when I played this lot with a family. Um Simply because obviously I forgot that when the hostess for a restaurant you ask for a seat, they go up and greet the sim themselves, and obviously you can't walk through counters. So I placed some walk through blocks on the counters themselves, so then the person can like walk through the counter and deal with the person accordingly, that kind of thing. But I did have to like play test that. I'm saying that like this build's going to be for download. I don't think any of my BACC builds are for download because I use so much CC and a lot of it is like unsorted, and so some of it's merged, some of it's not, and it's like it's just unpleasant all around for me to try and put that up for download. I think I put up Alicia's Grocers, the one to build like the general store that Kawatohe he owns. Put that up for download because like a mutual asked, and I was like, well, you can have it. It's not great, like you can have it though. But yeah, I merge all my terrain is like merged. That's why I have like so much of it. Because I was like, oh, if I just merge this down, it would be like less files. It's okay, whatever. And I really like desperately need to sort through my downloads folder for my BACC. But I don't want to think about that right now. I just want to play the game. So I'm just gonna do that. It's like 13 gigabytes of stuff, and I have folders. I just don't put things like when I download Sims or download houses because I download a lot of Sims for like townies, and then I download some houses sometimes. I haven't used any houses. I don't think. I think I've built every lot that built or like renovated because when I was starting my BACC, I actually went on this old website. I don't even know if it's still up, which is a shame. Maybe it's still up on the Internet Archive, but it's called allforsims.de, and I had like they had actually like started to build their own Wild Western town, so I got a lot of my CC from there. There were like some skin dresses as well that I got from there. There were just a bunch of things there that were really helpful for like creating a Native American town or Native American Sims, which is really helpful. It's a shame that it's not up there because I remember I tried to find it again. I couldn't get onto the website whatsoever. So that's really a shame. But yeah, allforsims.de was amazing for like starting my BACC. I really do want to see more Western Simmers because I really love this aesthetic of like the Wild West kind of thing. It's very unique. You don't see it often in the simming community. I don't feel anyway. I see a lot of like medieval kind of gameplay, a lot of Victorian as well, but like English Victorian, you know what I mean? But there's not much like Wild West, and like I don't think people play that as often. Maybe they do, and I just haven't found them. If there are more Wild Western simmers, let me know because you can tell by like the content that I create with the BACC. Like I enjoy Wild Western content a lot, but it was very very interesting to like find some more Wild Western simmers. I found one, I think on Tumblr called Locklane, who's doing the Homestead Challenge. So I'm looking forward to start reading that. I have liked a couple like pictures here and there when it comes up on my feed, but I haven't like properly like sat down and like read it from the start. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Yeah, the historical Sims 2 community, I think because it's such a niche group, it's like really small, but they are like the nicest people ever, and they are like my biggest supporters, so I love them a lot. All the historical Sims 2 players, I love you down. Like the community is so close knit. Everyone is just so friendly with each other. It's difficult to explain the sense of community that is in the historical Sims 2 fandom, but if any of you are watching this, I love you a lot. I feel like if if you give me time, like to just start talking, I just start talking about things I really like and people I really enjoy. Um, especially like in my, what was it, the mansion speed build that I did. I just had like close to I think like 50 minutes to just talk. And so it got to a point where I was like, oh my god, let me talk about the things I've been enjoying right now. So I started talking about like all the YouTubers that I really enjoy watching, and I guess I'm doing that again with like historical simmers that I enjoy. Now, obviously, I don't have like a prepared list right now of people. Obviously, the Plumbob Keep is amazing. That's more geared towards like medieval types of gameplay, but it has been so helpful like finding default replacements of things. It's been a godsend. So I'm the type where it's like not everything to me has to be perfectly Victorian or Edwardian, because like even though the Wild West did take place in a more Edwardian era, because my BACC is set in the future, I can kind of like do whatever I want. So I think, I don't know if it's already happened, but I put like some quote unquote modern posters up on the wall. So I think it was like Pulp Fiction and stuff like that. And technically, my BACC, that would have happened like over 600 years ago, because I don't know if I've talked about this. My BACC is like set in like a post-apocalyptic quote unquote future where I don't know, after like a nuclear war or whatever, generations and generations have passed, and like humanity still haven't like gotten back on their feet. Kind of like Fallout. It's kind of given Fallout. So, and I have a lot of Fallout conversions in my game. I think that's why I got so inspired. 'Cause initially, when I was thinking of doing a BACC, I was thinking, oh, let's do like a zombie apocalypse kind of thing. I was like, I don't want to have a modern setting whatsoever. Like, I really want it to be really different. And plus, I was watching, what's their face? Sims and Stories and Strategies. Yeah. Their BACC Hard and Harsh on YouTube. And that was like, I was like, I'm getting my apocalyptic zombie apocalypse fix right now watching this. But I really did want like a post-apocalyptic vibe, but it wasn't so obvious that it was post-apocalyptic, if that makes any kind of sense. So I was like, I want to go further into it at some point with the more families I have, to like go into like what caused the demise of like Sim Nation and why we have to like start from scratch and that kind of stuff, and just like rebuilding slowly and like building up my BACC, because one of my goals for this year is actually to like get a university. That to me would be so cool. Of course, the main goal is to like connect to my main goal is to blow up. Please tell me you understand that. But yeah, my main goal is to like get a downtown area kind of done and dusted. And also, I think I do have a video on this plan about the BACC and like where it came from and like the original rules of the BACC and how other people's rule sets have kind of like differed and that kind of stuff. It's gonna be like a short and sweet kind of video. I'm bad at scripting things, and I tend to, every time I write a script, I never stick to it. I'm bad with sticking to these kinds of things, but I do plan on making a video about BACCs and like where it came from. I have so many video ideas. It's so bad. I'm bad with like sticking to things. Once I have an idea, I'm kind of like I do it and then I just stop doing it. So I've had this video idea for a while, and it's so bad because I have all the footage for my hospital mods overview. I just haven't edited it. And one thing about me is I hate editing. Editing, it's just a tedious process. I wish I got quicker at it, but I'm not quick at it at all. So I've done all the footage. I think there are one or two clips that I need to include here and there that I can like kind of do quickly, but it's been very annoying having to like have that in the back of my mind being like, I have everything here, I just haven't done it yet. The same with my unpopular Sims opinion video. I've recorded all the footage, recorded my voiceover, I've recorded everything, just need to edit it, and that to me is very, very tedious, and I just have to like sit down and like buckle down and actually do it. In fact, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to, after I finish recording this, I'm going to edit those 2 videos. But yeah, for me, editing is like the slowest part of like content creation, and it's what sucks my soul out. I enjoy creating content a lot, but editing the content that I've created is annoying, especially because these speed builds are a lot easier for me to like get out there because it's just me talking. It's just me chilling and talking. When it comes to things such as my Let's Plays, I really want a certain standard. I don't want it to be an hour of just unedited gameplay. Like, you know, back in the old days when the Sims community was like still new, still fresh, and like Let's Plays were like a new thing in the community. So you'd like watch someone, they'd have like 5 episodes, and you could tell it was just like one. They sat down for like 5 hours and played the game and just split up the gameplay in 5 episodes, like that kind of that tea. So I didn't want it to feel like that. I wanted it to be engaging and snappy and something that I myself would watch because I get easily bored. If you don't keep me in with like a good concept or like engaging content, I'm not going to watch the video. So I myself, I'm very, very harsh on like the kind of stuff that I create because I'm like, if I wouldn't watch this, if I wouldn't watch the full video, I'm not going to put it out there. And obviously I love speed build, so I have not a lower bar for quality for speed build, but I'm kind of more lenient on like the way my speed builds are. In terms of like gameplay videos and like mod reviews and that kind of stuff, I'm very much like, just get to the point. Clicked on this video because I wanted to see something. Do not waste my time. And I don't want to waste your time whatsoever when it comes to these kinds of videos. Like, I really want you to click on the video and get exactly what you were coming to see. That annoys me the most about YouTube. So that's why I'm not the most consistent with YouTube, because I just hold myself to such a high standard that it's like difficult for me to like create as much content as I know I could if I had, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I really wouldn't. Anyway, here are some lovely, lovely pictures of the bowling alley. I'm so happy with the way this turned out. This lot is so cool to me. Like the little Skittles rink and then the little restaurants as well. It's kind of like a whole family thing. I had a lot of lots that were just bars and that kind of stuff, but it's been really interesting building for this bacc. It's really stretched my limits as a builder, but I hope you've enjoyed this video, and